I guess I've always been an artist without even really thinking about it. Art's been something that I've always done, even as a child. I grew up in the Adelaide Hills on a dairy farm, so it was lovely growing up with all that space and freedom, but also isolation. So I became very good at entertaining myself, and so always making something, creating and making art. My background as a professional artist, I worked in the advertising industry as an illustrator and designer for about 13 years. And it was when my first child was born, Amber, that I retired from that industry. I just could not see how late night stints and looking after a newborn baby was going to be compatible. So I basically, where I am now, started with a stay-at-home mum with 2 kids, teaching myself how to paint. So I'm basically a self-taught painter. Some of the highlights in my artistic career at this point, one, I guess, would have been when I sold my first painting at that stage where I just started painting and Amber was a baby. Took my first painting that I'd made painted into a picture framing business here in Noosa Junction. And while it was in there waiting to be framed, somebody offered to buy it, so it sold. So that was pretty exciting. I thought, okay, all right, well, I'll paint another one and take it in there. So, yeah, here we are. Yeah, I think the advertising's not a bad discipline as an artist, and lots of, working as an illustrator, I was working with lots of different mediums, and good discipline. My piece in the local Contemporary Art Prize, Breathe, coming up from air, is a piece very close to my heart. I actually was working on that painting in my partner Greg's final months of life. People would say to me, Susan, are you looking after yourself? Are you doing something for yourself? Are you meeting people for coffee? I didn't want to do any of those things. What I wanted to do was come into the studio and paint, and I found I found refuge in here in the studio painting. I think there was so much emotion going on at the time, so much surrender. I was not in control. I wasn't going to be able to change what was going to happen. I had to surrender. I think the painting, I was using that in a cathartic way. It was giving the grieving that I was already experiencing at the time some purpose. And while I was painting, I think I was searching for connection, I was searching for meaning. And I think the painting reflects that too. Even the way I worked, I was surrendering from control in working in a more abstracted way. And I really felt myself, the mangrove, I think, became my muse at the time, because it as a plant, it's so resilient. It withstands storms, surges, changing habitat. And I felt like I was having to withstand a storm in my own life. And it's not a completely new subject for me to paint. I've been painting some mangrove paintings for about 3 years now. Here's one in the background. It's one that I've painted most recently. Greg and I used to do a lot of kayaking in the Noosa creeks and waterways, which actually gave us access to these secret little places and mangroves that you can't access without being on the water. And I took a lot of photographs, and I guess my interest was really peaked then. My work, the underpinning of my work, whether it's mangrove paintings or the fibro beach houses, which I'm probably more known for, The underpinning of all these works is conservation, environmental concerns, and living sustainably. So I don't think painting the mangrove paintings is too far removed from what my whole message is that I'm trying to get across with all of my works. Some of the techniques that I used in the Breathe Coming Up for Air painting, I'll show you this painting here in the background. So this employs the same techniques. It's a more recent painting, but I've basically drawn up this work in charcoal to start off with. So there's some texture applied, paint layers over the texture, and then rubbed back again, sanded and scratched off in a sgraffito technique. I've used leaves stenciled and printed onto the canvas, creating a connection with the subject, with my muse, and also it makes me work more abstractedly and accidentally. I don't have control over how that's all going to come, work out, and then I work with that. So there's some resist. Artists will know what that is. That's when you put the oil paint down first and the acrylic over the top and it doesn't stay. So I've used some of that up in this area where the oil's gone on first rather than later, and then that has stayed after I've worked over with the acrylic paint. Few other tools, pressing things from behind, corrugated cardboard, scraping paint, whatever method that I can come up with to create marks rather than painting them on with a brush, so it all becomes more accidental. And then I'll have a look at it afterwards and finish it off with a brush and try and pull it all together. Winning the local contemporary art prize, like any artist would know that winning a prize is a thrill, it's a jackpot, it's not that easy to do. But winning with that particular work means so much to me because it's different work to what the main focus of my practice has been over the last 10 years, and it's the work that I'm not so known for. It's work I'm really enjoying creating, so it actually gives me the encouragement and the confidence to continue on that path with the work. So that's the biggest thing that I'm getting out of winning that prize. That particular piece was also a very sentimental piece. I don't think it's one that I would have easily parted with to a private collector to hang in somebody's living room, but I'm absolutely honoured to have it in a public art collection where many people can enjoy it. And I feel that the whole winning the prize, where the painting has ended up, I feel it's a real honouring of my love for my partner as well. A lot of artists are very hesitant about entering art prizes, and whenever my artist friends say, oh no, I don't enter prizes, I say, just do it, just enter. You don't even have to tell anyone you've done it. There's no failure in entering and not being selected, you've just got to do it. What's next for me as an artist? I think more of what I'm doing, I've still got some grief to work through. There's going to be more of these paintings now that I've got the encouragement and the confidence to pursue with these works. So I'm just going to continue spending time in my studio with an open mind, open to opportunity. I just want to paint. I just have this thing that I want to paint. I've always wanted to be a painter. And painting now, I think, thank goodness for painting now that I've reached this path in my life, because it's actually what is helping me to look forward rather than looking back, It's keeping me moving forward. And I'm finding a lot of refuge in painting. It's a place I feel safe, it feels like me.